Greetings everybody, this is Serpentine451 and welcome to another episode of Weeb Warriors. Now, joining me this week, since Jordan is busy with something, we're gonna have our other co-host, who actually has the time to join us. It's Jay. How you doing tonight, Jay?
What's up, guys? Good evening, you filthy degenerates. How are y'all?
Yep, and I would like to, before we start, I would like to say that Jay is going to be on vacation for a couple of weeks, you said?
Yep, gonna be gone, gonna be out of the country for like 2 weeks, completely off the grid, but I will be back afterwards.
So you're just gonna have 2 weeks with me and Jordan, as per usual, but Jay will be giving his thoughts on the most recent episodes for a lot of the shows that we have watched this week, since he won't be with us for next week's review.
Yep.
So, the show we're actually going to be starting with is Dr. Stone.
Alright. So yeah, this was such a good episode, man. This is exactly what I was waiting for, dude. I was telling all of you guys, like, look out for Tsukasa! Look out for Tsukasa! This dude has a epic-ass entrance.
Dude took out lions with his bare hands.
He was butt-ass naked. Nothing but his bare hands. And not only did he kill the lion, but he also thanked it, prayed for its soul, and then skinned it, made a cool-ass pelt coat, looking like Hercules and shit.
Yeah, and then they just left him to do all the fighting and the hunting, where he bitch slaps boars, catches geese from the sky, and decides to tell piranhas to go fuck themselves with a spear.
Man, he is so fucking awesome. I don't agree with his philosophy at all. And I think, for me at least, when I was reading the manga, this was where it got really interesting, because this is where we got our first, like, ideological conflict with, of course, Senku being the type of person to be like, nah, I'm gonna unfreeze everybody. I don't care what you did in the past, or, like, you know, what your ideology or inclination is. As long as you're not hurting anybody, you deserve to be freed. And, you know, Tsukasa is much more jaded and like, well, no, some of these people are really messed up. Maybe we shouldn't actually bring back everybody. We should leave it to the youth, leave it to our generation to be the ones to bring civilization back. Because, you know, being young and not as corrupted by the world, you know, we have a much better perspective of things. Which, again, like, I understand it, but I don't agree with it at all, because sometimes you need to be a little jaded and you need to know more about the world to be able to really kind of, you know, make these harder decisions.
Yeah, and if you don't have the, like, emotional maturity or the mental fortitude to make said difficult decisions, then you wouldn't really know what to do, and you pretty much steamroll into calamity.
It's a very interesting dynamic. Like, Tsukasa and Senku kind of have this, like, Xavier Magneto thing, and, like, you know, the thing about and the thing I really appreciate about Tsukasa is that, like, you know, when he does come into conflict with Senku, he's like, you know, if we had met before the petrification, I think you would have been my first friend. And it's really sad. Like, oh man, he didn't have any friends. Like, oh, it sucks. All you had was your sister, and then your sister likely died from whatever. I don't know if she died, but, like, from his backstory that we saw, which, you know, I haven't gotten to any point where, like, it goes further into his backstory. But from the backstory we saw in the episode, like, it seems as though his sister might have died.
Or, from what I can probably infer, is that she suffered a lot of abuse, much like he did, due to their alcoholic father.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what I'm thinking, is that it may not be like a physical thing, but it's more of a psychological and mental thing. Like, his little sister was emotionally and mentally broken by the acts of their father, and she wouldn't be the same person that she was when she was a little girl. So
Yeah,
that's
no,
kind
I
of
see
what
what
my
you're saying.
thought process is.
Also, like, my heart goes out to Taiju, man. He's they're about to die. They're about to die, and he's like, oh no, oh man, like, Senku, I can't let you die, dude. You're humanity's last hope. I'll be your shield. And then I love Senku. He's just like, no, you idiot. I need you too. You're my labor force. And we're gonna run. We're gonna run together. And Taiju, he, for once in his life, he actually uses his brain. And he thinks practically. And he's like, sorry, Yuzoreha. I like you and all. And don't worry, we'll come back. And we'll get enough fluid to bring you back later. But we gotta survive.
Yeah,
And
we
in
gotta
order to
get...
survive, we gotta unfreeze this guy.
Yeah, we gotta unfreeze this martial artist to beat the shit out of these lions.
Dude, it was, and what I love is, like, how they animated it to, like, match the pace of how the manga revealed it. Like, first, his eyes are unfrozen, and then all you hear, like, he just briefly says, what's the situation? And Senku's like, at your 9 o'clock and your 2 o'clock, there are 2 lions coming right at you. He's like, okay. And he just he burst out of the stone, uses the stone fragments as debris to hit the other lions.
And
hitting
Taiju. And hitting Taiju.
And hitting Taiju. And then, like, the alpha lion jumps at him and he says, nope! Woo! That was great!
Yeah, I about, like, fainted from, like, yo!
So much hype! So much hype!
But I think that's all we're gonna have to say about that episode in particular. This show is really captivating me in its own unique way. And sure, like we talked about last week, with its science being a bit janky compared to real life science, it's still there, but it's not like 100%. If you get what I'm saying.
I like, it's like we said last week. It's one where you definitely have to suspend your disbelief, but also the science is real and it's fascinating. So I think it's one of those things that's very interesting.
It's embellished science to make it seem cool, but it's based on actual science.
Yep, and also since this is a series that isn't like your tradition. It's not a battle shonen. It's not like your traditional shonen. It makes you really appreciate the actual, like, moments of genuine shonen hype that do happen in the series.
Like, Tsukasa beating the shit out of lions.
Yeah, man, he's quite an interesting villain, and I'm sure that's not a spoiler or anything. I'm pretty sure anybody with half a brain can realize, okay, Tsukasa and Senku disagree majorly on this ideological principle. He's definitely gonna be the bad guy.
Yep, he's gonna, if the show continues on, which I hope it does, after its initial episode
no way
run.
it won't, with the fan following it has, yeah.
Oh, and so, let's go from one shonen series to another in Fire Force.
Yep, okay, cool. So, we get the introduction of our shonen rival character, and you know that this was a low-key joke at Naruto because it's the reverse of Naruto. You've got the loud shonen protagonist, but he has black hair, and you've got the more subdued, bishoujo-looking rival character, but he has blonde hair.
But it's Bishonen, Jay, not Bishoujo.
Yeah.
You're talking but to those who have brain cells that work at a capacity of a rotating fan,
but yeah,
we don't want to get those wires crossed.
But it's definitely like a palette swapped version of Naruto and Sasuke.
Yep, and this rival's name is Arthur Doyle.
Yeah, Arthur, I immediately did not like this kid when he showed up. And I mean, that's a sign of a good rival. If you automatically don't like this guy, it's like, yep, you're doing your job. You're doing your job.
Yeah, I looked at him and he was speaking like, wow, this is a douche canoe.
Right? Just smug-ass bastard with your wooden sword and hilt.
Yep. Although, the way he manipulates fire is actually admittedly pretty cool.
I mean, it's cool, but it's basically just Kuwabara's spirit sword.
Yeah, but the way I see it, at least this episode really humanized our central characters.
Yeah, I definitely really appreciate that. Also, I like that Fire Waifu Maki got a little bit more backstory. We find out she's an ex-soldier and she's a freaking badass.
Yep, and for all of us degenerates out there, decently stacked. Decently stacked.
Yeah, man. I was like, okay, cool.
I mean, this is coming from the creator of Soul Eater. Yep. So, at least some potential waifus will be stacked.
I know, that's what I was waiting. I was like, alright, Twitter, where are your lewds at? I'm waiting.
And if Twitter. Jordan was here, he would just say, no, get out.
Well, Jordan's not here, so
we can
hit me, Twitter, bring on the lewds.
Yeah.
But yeah, for real. Like, I mean, come on, man. You guys know the trope. All the ladies like the fireman calendars. Well, now we have one. Okay, now we have a sexy firefighter. Yeah. Let us have this.
Yeah, we have a sexy firefighter in the form of an anime waifu. Let us have this moment.
Also,
damn it.
Also, she can summon adorable chibi fireballs.
But the lieutenant doesn't appreciate those chibi fireballs.
But I do. I appreciate the chibi fireballs. I also appreciate the chibi fireball spirit bomb she was about to throw at Arthur's bitch ass.
Yep. And then we got to see a side of Captain Obi that, because Shinra basically explained he never saw an angry expression on that man's face until their most recent call.
Okay, so this is what I really like about it. Like, this episode once again has really good world building. Like I said, with Maki's backstory, we also find out there's gonna be a tournament arc. They're gonna do the rookie. They're doing the rookie games, so that means you got your basic hunter exam, a sports festival, tuning exam, whatever you want to call it. Tournament arc setup. Yes.
Yep.
Super hyped.
And the one thing I can always appreciate is that if anything else, this show has great characters. And if anything, I don't know what thought I had possessed me, but when it comes to these two characters, they're relatable in their own way. And since Shinra's our protagonist, we get to see him really grip what it means to be a fire soldier. And I think that's what the title of the episode fits it perfectly.
It has something very in common with Dr. Stone. Like, this week's Dr. Stone also kind of dives deeper into ethics and ideology, and like that was something I was wondering with the first episode of Fire Force. Like, so are these people still considered people once they become an infernal? And I love what Obi says. He goes, look, that's why you don't bring your weapons out in public, because it's disrespectful to the kin, because to them, that's still their family. Yeah, we're doing this service to, keep the demons from causing any further destruction. But do you know what we're really doing? We are killing these people.
Yep, and that got through Arthur and Shinra's heads. And you got to admit, Jay, that the title of the episode, The Heart of a Fire Soldier, fits this episode perfectly.
Oh yeah, it really
and
does.
Arthur really
it has a lot of symbolism, especially because Arthur stabs the father of the family who is combusted in the heart to end his pain, and I love it because Arthur he is less idyllic than Shinra, so he understands more quickly what Obi's trying to say, and Shinra, he's still kind of innocent about it. He's like, what are you doing? What do you mean kill him now? He hasn't done anything wrong yet. And Arthur explains, he goes, no, you idiot, you don't understand. He's fighting this. He's in pain. He's making sure that he doesn't do anything wrong. We have to help him. We have to put him out of his misery.
Yeah, I really appreciate the things that they did with this episode and really exploring who these characters are as people and how difficult a job like theirs can be. So let's
And
actually move.
like I also got to give tip my hat to the David production staff because animating fire you'd think is pretty simple and boring, but they
Oh no,
really
it's not.
they really give life to fire here. Also, we get a small glimpse at a potential villain. Again, I haven't read further into the manga. I want to go in on this blind. I'm gonna read the manga after the season wraps, but we get a look at a character known as the Joker, according to because the subtitles actually listed the character name. His name is the Joker. He's that dude in the mask who conjured that fire smiley face and did the ash magic explosion thingy at the end. So wonder what he's about.
So we are left with very interesting places that the show will take us, and I'm looking forward to it personally. So let's actually go
for sure.
from one style of show to another with Magical Senpai.
Okay, man, oh man. Like I said before, you guys, this anime has such a great formula. It's a little bit of cringe, plus a little bit of humor, plus anime titties equals magic.
Yep. Even though our focused waifu is nothing more than a sad girl trying to do magic, she does her best,
man,
damn it. She does her best.
I have two big weaknesses on my long list of preferences. One of them is magician girls, and the other is airheads. And she checks off both of those boxes, so I'm cool with Senpai. In this episode, she tries to do the whole spoon bending thing.
Yep,
And
so...
I love the trope that, she knows how to do it, but she keeps failing at it. But Assistant Kun, as soon as she tells him how to do it, he's like, "Oh, cool!
So, I bent the spoon!"
He goes, "Look at it, Senpai, I did it!" And she's over here, "Ugh! Ugh!" And he's like, "Wow, even physics failed her." And then she accidentally spills the hot sauce on his curry.
And he's like, "Ugh, why?" And then
Goes,
the scenes with the stuffed animal.
If it's not that bad, then you eat it.
But my favorite parts of episode 2 were definitely the scenes with the stuffed animal.
Yeah, the stuffed animal
Behemoth.
part was hilarious. I also enjoyed the scene in the park when she tries to do the tricks for the kids.
Oh, those kids roasted her. That was great.
That's hilarious. I just love it. Assistant Kun is just walking in the park, and he goes, "Oh, she sits on a bench," and he's like, she sees her tied up, and it's just like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, and then, of course, as per tradition in shows like this, we have to get at least a few good panty shots in this poor girl.
Oh yeah, when she tries to do the coin trick and the coin goes flying.
Showing off her white panties. At least in episode 3, not to make us sound like complete degenerates.
Yeah.
We're just telling you the facts here, people, not making us seem like complete degenerates.
Also, I like that Assistant Kun impresses the kids more with his video game knowledge than Senpai's magic. And then, of course, Senpai, being the lovable dumbass that she is, she's doing she does a clothes change trick inside this sleeping bag thingamajig, but she forgets to bring a change of clothes, so she's naked under that sleeping bag.
Yep,
and so she has to hop away in the sleeping bag. And then I love Assistant Kun's narration. He goes, "Yeah, from that day on, she was now known as the lady who stinks at magic and the park flasher."
Yep. So, do you want to give your quick thoughts on episode 3 since you're going to be on vacation?
Yeah. Let me talk about episode 3. So I really enjoyed episode 3. This show just keeps on getting more and more hilarious. We find out in episode 3 that her One-san is actually a teacher at the high school and is Assistant Kun's homeroom teacher. Because, like, they go to the faculty office to get their club form signed, and, you know, the first person that comes up, Assistant Kun's like, oh, there's my homeroom teacher, let's go ask her. And Senpai's like, oh, no, let's go somewhere else, let's go to that teacher. It's like, why, what's wrong with her? Oh, Imoto-chan! And it's just like, oh, Imoto-chan, oh, wait a second, where's this going? And she's like all hugging her and being all embarrassed.
No, what she did was grab onto those anime titties, milk them for what they're worth.
Yep, that she did. And I love One because One is like a massive troll, and it is great.
Yes.
And
you can tell that they're sisters because they're both dunderheads, and it's great.
but the thing that's great about One is aware that she's a goof.
Yep, and she's okay with the fact that she's a goofy goober. And
she like fully embraces it, and it's great. It's wonderful. It's just like Senpai tries to do a card trick. She's like, alright, then show me a magic trick real quick. And so first she fails because like both the cards she's supposed to pull and a few other cards are shown right side up instead of like facing down. And then when she actually pulls it off, she's like, is this your card? And then she reads it. It says boobs.
Yep, just boobs. And she's like, no!
You weren't supposed to do that! What the heck, man? She just starts laughing her ass off, and I'm just like, oh, this is great.
And then everything gets shot down by cranky old man teacher. It's great.
Yep. And then old man teacher is like, take your job. You're not a student anymore. Take your job as a teacher seriously. And he drags One-san face like, well, I'll see you later, Imoto-chan. I'll make sure to get your club, pulled through. And then it's just like, oh, okay, cool. And so next we get like, once again, she tries to do another, like the card trick again. But Assistant Kun is distracted because Senpai forgot to zip up her skirt.
Because he can see them lime green panties.
Yep.
Oh no!
Nice
it was the flower. It was the pink flower print.
It's pink with flower print. It's pink with flower print, and he's distracted. And like when he's trying to pull the card, he's like, "Oh, flower print." Shit. He goes, and she's just like, "Silly Assistant Kun. There are no flower print cards."
And then she goes to the bathroom and she realizes, "Oh shit."
Yeah, no. Yeah, she's like, I can't believe Assistant Kun is so dumb that he doesn't know to do the cards. And then she's sitting there on the toilet, and she's like, flower print cards. And then she looks down, and she's like, oh, that explains a lot.
And then you get her in more compromising positions to reveal her lime green panties at that point in time.
Yep. Oh yeah, because so the next step is Assistant Kun. He Googles like ways to get rid of stage fright, and so they try a bunch of things. Like he's like, well, the first thing that it says is drink water. So she goes overboard and drinks too much water to the point where her tummy hurts, and then she has to pee, and then he tries to do this whole meditative breathing exercise, and she ends up curling up like a little cat and taking a nap in the club room. And then, last but certainly not least, my favorite part, where I got my thumbnail from, and the title of my review.
Tickle me, damn it!
So basically, Assistant Kun's like, okay, the last strategy says that you need to distract yourself in order to, like, alleviate your stage fright. And she's like, oh, I've got a brilliant idea, Assistant Kun. I want you to tickle me while I try and do my magic tricks. And so she, she puts her arms down, and Assistant Kun, he gets closer, and he's just like, damn, she's thick. And so, like any man of culture, he takes the opportunity to, just cop a quick feel. Nothing where he'd hope she'd not notice. Like, he doesn't full-on grab like One-san does. But, he touches it. And
it's like a polite...
Yeah, he does it politely. And at first he freaks out because she's like, he thought that she noticed, and she's like, Assistant-kun, what are you doing? Do you not know how to tickle? Don't tell me you're gonna fail at this too. And he was like, oh, alright, bet. Oh, okay. Oh, we're playing that game now. And so he tickles the shit out of her.
Yeah, this broad does not realize that her assistant, that she basically conscripted into doing magic with her, knows how to have common sense than she does. It's great. It's brilliant.
Yep. And so he was like, oh, you want to be tickled, huh? That's what you want, senpai. Alright, bet. And so he tickles the shit out of her to the point where she is like out of breath and just bent over, just done.
Just spent.
It was great. It was absolutely great.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the final one, the last two, this one leads into the last one. She tries to do, like, this series of kimono-based tricks, and this for some reason, Assistant-kun was okay with letting this dumb bitch play with fire. And I was like, wait a minute. You know,
like, yo, homie,
stupid, right?
do you really think that's a good idea?
You know she's stupid, right? Like, don't give the stupid person fire.
Unless you want to entertain yourself for a good 5 minutes and they're rednecks. But that's just it.
Yep, and then, so, of course, what happens inevitably happens, and she almost sets the club room on fire, and so grumpy old man teacher is like, the fuck are you doing?
Are you
Sprinklers
stupid?
went off. Get out. Do your club activities outside.
For right now, you do not get that club room for at least a couple of days. You are outside. You're bad.
You idiots. Leave. And then poor Assistant was like, but I didn't, man.
But still, great little 12-minute series. It's it's classic. I say
and
it's
of course,
a classic.
the last one is, of course, the return of the pigeons. And so, since they're outside, because
oh no, that's when we saw her lime
There's-
green panties. She got basically mollywopped by 3 pigeons in particular. They looked at her like, you think you can get us? Alright, bet. We're gonna fuck with you.
No, yeah, like, so she's like, well, aren't outdoor club activities great? And she's just like, well, you mean because we got kicked out of the club room because you set it on fucking fire? Yeah, isn't it great? It's so lovely outside. Well, I guess this is the perfect opportunity to collect more supplies. And it's like, what do you mean supplies? Bitch, we're outside. What are you gonna... And then she like goes, points to the pigeons, and Assistant Kun's like, oh no, not this again. Because he remembers the last time with the dove / pigeon from the first episode.
Doves are basically white pigeons.
Yeah, and so he's just like, oh no, not this again. And so she tries to approach the group of pigeons. The pigeons all attack her, and then she's like, all right, I've got a better idea. I'm gonna climb this tree and try and capture them from their nest. And he's just like,
no, she wanted to steal their eggs so she could convince them to work with her.
Yep, and she's like, I'm gonna raise their babies so they can imprint on me, and they're gonna love me and obey me. And it's just like, Assistant Kun's like, alright, well, I don't want any part of this. Have fun with that, senpai.
And he noped the fuck out of there.
Yep, and she goes climbing, and, as expected, the pigeon family attacks her, and she's like, help me, Assistant Kun, and Assistant Kun's like, nah, nice panties though, but peace.
And then, my favorite moment in that particular vignette is when one of those pigeons just shits on her. It's great.
Oh my god, okay, I almost used that as thumbnail, but also the poop looks like something else.
Yeah, it looks like she got bukkakied.
It did. It looked very much like that. I know they did it on purpose, and that was hilarious.
Yeah, because if there's one thing you should know about my channel, Jay, since I'm not monetized, I can just say whatever nonsense comes out of my mouth as long as it's not too extreme.
Yeah, no. I'm just used to being in green dollar sign mode. So
Yeah, so
yeah, I forgot I can actually like let more loose here. Yeah. So it looked like she got jizzed on.
yeah,
Like,
so she got cream pie. She got Abe Lincoln.
just a real nice thorough facial happening there.
Yeah, she
but
suffered from that money shot from that bird shit.
That was hilarious. So I really enjoy this show, but I really want like to see the other characters that are in the OP and the ED. Like, yo, the ginger girl looks so cute. Like, give me the ginger waifu.
And I want to know the secret behind her love for the fat man.
Exactly! The guy who looks like Pedo Bear from Hajime no Gao.
Yes! I'm
Okay,
glad
come
you
on.
made that
You can't
comparison.
I was gonna say, you can't tell me you didn't see that
I
guy.
saw that
Looks
too,
like Pedo
but
Bear.
I saw that
Looks
too,
like
but I'm
Pedo Bear
like,
from Hajime no Gao.
I saw that comparison, but I didn't want to make that comparison, but until you did, like, yeah, that's true, he does.
But like, I really want to know more about the Street Performance Club. I want them to show up. I want Ginger Waifu and, Kudere with bangs. She's clearly the
I want
Kudere.
we need to know more about Scientist Waifu. We need to know more about Ginger Waifu. We
And
need
I want to know. I also want to see Dancing Fat Man, because who doesn't like Dancing Fat Man?
Yes, we want to see more of these interesting characters that we have yet to be introduced to. Because please, Magical Senpai.
And plus
Please,
the
Magical
ED
Senpai.
features them in bunny girl suits.
Yeah, because
What?
we need, like, us anime degenerates, we need to see some of our fetishes just out in the open. That's essentially what happens.
Exactly.
And Magical Girl Senpai satisfies at least one of our cravings in life.
It's definitely at least one. It's at least one preferred fetish per episode. You know, and if you're into bondage, this show definitely just like really checks off your boxes because it happens.
If you like to have big titted waifus get tied up in ropes, it's for you. And I am proudly one of those degenerates that likes to see their waifus
100%.
get tied up by ropes.
100%.
Because I am that much of a
100%.
degenerate. But enough of the degeneracy. Let's actually get down to something that is actually pretty fucking adorable. That is, if it's for my daughter, I'd even defeat a demon lord.
Okay, so I can't talk about this show without my voice going up in octaves because it's just so damn cute. Oh,
I will allow
God.
it. I will allow it, Jay. It is okay.
Oh my God, little baby demon Lolly is so cute. I mean, she's not a lolly because she's an actual child, but like, little baby demon, so fucking cute. Latina is great. Oh my God.
Yes.
Protect at all costs.
Because let us explain some of the major points in this episode. She has a memory of, I still say it's her father.
I was with Jordan's theory at first, but now, after seeing, last week's episode and this week's, I'm definitely more thinking it is her father.
Mm-hmm. So, she explains the meaning behind a rainbow tour. Mm-hmm. And she keeps that memory in her mind. And then, as Dale goes to finish up a quest that he did...
Yeah, just to confirm that it's done, with, the guild master. And also, probably the cutest fucking thing, she is learning Japanese, and she's saying it with a little accent, and it's so cute, because the subtitles also spell it like how she says it. So she says, have a nice twip.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, oh,
and she's also learning how to be a good girl, trying to clean up after people, trying to impress the people that are taking care of her.
Yeah,
such adorableness.
I love the pub patrons because they get at first they give her the tray and they're watching and they're like, oh no, watch your step, and she doesn't, and she she pays attention. She steps over the threshold and doesn't trip, and they're like, Oh, good.
Yeah,
Good
and then
call.
you have her learning how to peel potatoes, making mashed potatoes. It's because it's for her surrogate father, Dale. Because
And
he said that.
she's got a little apron and bandana. It's so, oh my god, it's so cute,
So
man.
basically, folks, this show is basically you if you feel this notion like this, you have this feeling of being a parent or no, like have raised little kids throughout the course of your life in any way, shape, or form. You basically want to say, you know what? Maybe children would be a good avenue, but then you realize again, like, oh yeah, they cost money.
Yep. Yeah, like, so, you know, it's definitely something that you can relate to if you've had either, like, you know, both Tony and I are the eldest siblings in our respective families. Well, I mean, not counting my older sister, but like out of like my parents' kids, I am the oldest. And so like, you know, I've I've helped, you know, with my brothers, and you know, same thing with like my niece and all that. So like I really like love this because it's all the cute moments without any of like the BS that also comes with it, the annoying stuff.
Like all that sass that actual children that you've helped raise and taken care of.
Yep.
So, but also in this episode, Latina actually makes friends.
Yes!
Because this poor girl got lost because she was distracted by a rainbow.
Yeah, she got distracted by a rainbow magic man, and then she lost Kenneth. And then I was just like, oh no, she's lost. And I was afraid that those kids were gonna bully her. And but they were just asking her like, we've never seen you before. Where are you from? And then, you know, she doesn't know how to speak properly yet, so she starts speaking in Devil, and they're like, what are you saying? Hey, what do you? And then he actually he didn't mean to, but he was a little too aggressive.
And then Chloe.
And then the girl comes out the girl. I want to say her name.
It's Chloe.
Chloe. Yeah, Chloe. Chloe comes to her rescue and is like, shouldn't be bullying little girls, man.
And she beats the shit out of the tall kid and the fat kid.
Yeah, poor Anthony and his fat friend.
Yeah, that fat kid didn't do anything.
Even like that's what I really felt bad about, because fat kid was the one that was like, hey man, like she's clearly gonna cry, you should stop. Fat kid was trying to stop it. Why'd you beat up fat kid too?
And then, just to win their trust, Latina uses her healing magic to heal the scraped knee on Fat Kid. And they're like, whoa, you can use magic at your age? That's cool!
That's awesome!
And then, while Dale and the patrons were looking for Latina, because Dale was freaking the fuck out, as any parent would in that situation. Like, oh shit, why did you let her leave your sight? Why, Kenneth? Why? There was one time when I was like really young, and like my mom had like taken me to the grocery store, and so she was like, go ahead and go pick out your cereal while I look for, I forget what she was looking for, but she's like, go ahead and pick out your cereal, we'll meet back here. And, you know, I was like 4 or 5, so I didn't like know stuff, so I got the cereal, and I lost my mom for a second, and my mom started freaking out, to the point where, like, she had to have, like, the people page and say, tell me to come to the checkout register. And it's just like, okay, there you are. Okay, cool. So yeah, like I get that. Didn't happen to me, but it happened to my sister. But the one thing I can remember from my childhood that is funny to me, and I will share this to put this out in the world, and I know more than likely I would show my mom this just to amuse me for no apparent reason, just to see her embarrassed, but when I was a kid, not knowing what these were, I just pretty much sang the Trojan Man jingle in the middle of a grocery store.
Oh, that's hilarious, Trojan, man.
Yeah, my mom's like, "Don't you shut up, don't do that."
Oh my god, that's great.
And I think I was like maybe 7, 8 years old.
Oh,
Maybe 10? Maybe
Oh
10?
my
I don't really
God.
remember how old I was exactly, but I remember that happening so vividly in my mind. It's hysterical.
Good on you, Good on you, Mama Brady. Good on you, teaching Tony the Trojan jingle at 7.
No,
or 8
I
years
saw
old.
that from a TV commercial.
Oh my god, that's great.
And my
That's
mom,
hilarious.
she is the kindest woman you'll ever meet, unless you piss her off, but she's also not the smartest person you'll ever meet in the world. I love her to death, though. But she's a dingus.
But yeah, like back to the show. Yeah, like so one of the like burly adventurer dudes eventually.
I call him
comes
bearded
across-
old fuck.
Yep. He ends up coming across Latina and her friends, and like he goes to them and is like, "Hey kids," and then they're all scared and freaking out because like they're like, "Oh no, like this is the part of town where the ruffians hang out. Like mom told us not to go here." It's just like, it's okay, we're helping her out. She says that she lives at the pub, so we gotta get to the pub. And so like, you know, old guy, he's like, "Hey kids," and then like they freak out, and then like Latina says something, it's like, "Oh hi," and then it's just like, "Oh, nice to see you, little missy. We've been looking for you."
And that just
Yeah.
warmed my heart because it took all of them looking for her, and you gotta say, like, out of the waifus for this season, Rita actually climbs the list for like being on best waifu.
Rita actually Rita definitely meets like waifu like qualities. Like she's like the Senko of the summer season.
Yeah, she is definitely like quality waifu
Yeah, for sure.
because
And-
she helps out. Like, she convinced those codgers in the pub to actually go out and look for a Latina to help Dale. And she
Yep.
says, "I will make sure your drinks and food are free tonight if you find this little girl."
Yeah,
And
and I
some of
love
them-
old guy. He's like, "Well, my beer's not gonna taste right without like the pub star attraction. So I'm gonna go look for her."
And everyone's
That's
like,
why-
"It would be
and-
nice
and-
to have Dale owe me one for once."
Yeah, because you know Dale's the top adventurer in the town, so like you know it was nice to have him owe you a favor. And man, like the part that just made me awe so much was when Dale finally like Launchina's pacing around the pub waiting for Dale to show up, and then you hear frantic footsteps. Here comes Dale. And then Lot, you know, just gives him a hug and starts to cry, and is like, "I'm sorry, I was bad. I didn't mean to. I broke my promise." And I'm just like, "Oh no, it's cool. Don't cry. You didn't do anything wrong. It's okay."
And I'm like,
I wanted to hug-
"Oh, that
I wanted to
reminds me
hug
of
her
so
so
many
bad.
things." Oh my
I wanted
god.
I wanted to hug her so bad. I was like, no, don't cry. No. You don't deserve anything but head pats. You get all the head pats.
Yeah, you get praise because you were scared and lost, but you had friends, and then
Yeah, you made friends. You thought things through. You were very smart. You're a good girl. You're the best.
yeah,
Don't discount yourself, little baby. You're fine.
sweet summer child.
Oh, my
Okay,
goodness.
so
It was
before we basically
It was great.
kill ourselves on this diabetes, let's actually get to our next show, Jay. That being Danmachi Season 2.
All right, Hestia is bestia. Just look at that chestia. Our goddess has returned. People, rejoice.
Yes.
Rejoice.
Hallelujah. Good Lord.
The titties are back. Sick bitches get riches.
And to be fair, Jay, haven't you noticed, as a true connoisseur of them thick hoes, haven't you noticed that our goddess Hestia, in the chest region, doesn't look as thick as she used to be.
Yeah, they changed the art style a bit. They definitely reduced her a tad. But they make up for that by improving on the physics. Like, definitely.
Agreed, my good friend. At least you and I know that we men of culture notice these finer details.
Yeah, because, like, I think they traded in the quantity for quality, in that aspect, because, like, they might be slightly smaller to the point where, like, you don't notice unless you've, like, unless you're, a true man of culture. You know the difference between Season 1 Hestia and Season 2 Hestia.
And you tend to notice, like, Mikoto, one of Takemiki Suzuchi's children, she's respectably stacked.
She got stacked now. Like, she wasn't, I mean, she was pretty moderately stacked, like, in Season 1, but she's stacked now.
Oh, we kind of know where Hestia's extra boobage went to.
Yeah, but also, like I said, they lessened the size to improve on the jiggle physics, and improving on the jiggle physics is always, just thank you.
We can continue this discussion, but let's actually get to the first episode at hand.
Yep. So it's basically like your standard setup episode, welcoming you back to the world, reintroducing you to Belle, Lily, Wealth, and Mikoto.
And they're out adventuring together in some of the high-teen floors. Or mid-teen floors. I think they went to floor 13, is what Aaron said.
And they plan to go on to 15 in their next adventure.
Like 15 or 18.
And
Mikoto is joining them because she still feels bad about what happened in Season 1.
Yeah, because, if you guys don't remember, they kind of sicked the monsters on Belle's party and just ghosted. So...
Yep, and she still feels bad, and so she's helping them out. And, kind of sticking to their party for a bit.
And also, let's be honest, we all know why this is happening. We need to add another member to the harem.
Yep, because she was impressed with Belle taking out, I think it was Kane, wasn't it? One of the bosses before the stopping floor in Season 1. She saw that potential and she's like, damn, I want to get some of that.
Yep, he took out the boss monster, and that was that they thought the Loki familiar had taken out on the floor, but apparently it had.
Oh no! It revived itself. Then it basically blocked it, like.
Yeah. Yep.
But that's all.
Then Belle took it out.
But that's all in the past. So, but apparently,
Yeah. So when they go back to the bar,
they actually went to a different pub, and they are just celebrating with their accomplishments, enjoying themselves, and some douchers from the Apollo Familia started causing shit, like diss tracking poor Hestia and poor Belle and Lily.
They start talking crap about Hestia, which is not to be tolerated. I'm with Belle here.
Yeah.
You
don't hurt we don't hurt the waifu.
Listen, man. You can say a lot of things about these characters, but one thing you do not do, and he crossed the line here, he insulted the titties.
Yeah, you don't insult titties? Like, why would you do that? And Belle just knocks the short fucker starting the shit in what?
Yep.
He fucked him up.
And then Wealth is like, alright, bet, bar fight.
Yeah, they fought a few of the mooks pretty
Lily,
well, and then
I love Lily. Lily's reaction is the best. She's like, "This is why I don't fuck with adventurers."
Yeah, and then the Phoebos, or the Phoebos Apollo.
Yep.
Basically, the cream of the crop of the Apollo Familia.
He's a level 3, which is pretty crazy.
That's because Belle and the crew were talking about Belle potentially reaching level 3 relatively soon.
Which, is definitely possible given his, the growth skill that he unlocked in the beginning of Season 1.
Yep, and I think that's something that he was inherently born with, but that's besides the point. And so this dude wrecks his shop. I mean,
like completely.
Well got wrecked and Bell got wrecked by this dude.
If it wasn't for Wolf coming up, the Loki familia.
Yeah, Puppy he basically said, "You bitches want to fuck around? Get the fuck out."
He's like, leave the rabbit alone. He's my friend. He's my friend's pup. He's my friend's pet.
Yep. And
that's a joke from the abridged, by the way.
Yep.
Watch the Danmachi abridged. It's great.
It's perfect. It's just spectacular. But one thing that I could definitely say that in this episode, I never in my lifetime would want to see complete douchers in this world. And the pinnacle of douchery is Apollo.
Dude, oh my, okay, let's talk about this. So, you and I both are big fans of Greek mythology and mythology in general, which is like the biggest draw of Danmachi for both of us.
Yeah.
And, you know, one thing that we've always talked about is how Apollo is the biggest dick in all of the Greek pantheon. He is the most
to be fair, let's think of it like this. I've always said, and people can take me on my word, is that the Greeks had this philosophy, at least how I'm interpreting it, is that the Greeks had their gods to be more relatable, to be more human, with fallible, like foibles and flaws. And Apollo, since he and his twin Artemis are representations of the sun and moon taking over for the titans of the sun and the moon, they had different interpretations. Like, Artemis has always viewed herself as a virgin hunter, and those who cross her really are in her crosshairs. And then you have Apollo, who basically, much like his father, would bang anything, and I do mean anything, that moves. That includes the vag and the dick. He will
He's also extremely jealous and vindictive. He is one of the most, if not the most, vindictive of all the Greek gods.
Oh, and also he is the most depressing, if you really think about it. Besides, most interpretations of his myth associate with him with Orpheus, saying that he can be his son, or Orpheus is his son, all this crazy stuff.
A lot of the interpretations say that Orpheus is his son, and a lot of the most of the children of Apollo that are featured in myths are emo kids.
Yeah, pretty much the most talented musicians and artisans in all of the Greek world, but also very depressed individuals. But the one thing that Danmachi does with Apollo's character is that they made him into a party-loving guy, but he's also a doucher.
Did you get that vibe? He was basically Dio when this man shows up, and he's like, "Hello, everyone. It is me, Apollo." Like,
no, when I saw that, when I saw
Apollo vibe from him, man.
When I saw Apollo for the first time, I thought, man, this guy looks like a douche.
Yeah, I
and
got
then,
such a
towards the end of the episode, he had that smug look on his face. You know the type of smug faces.
Yep.
And bro.
They did such a great job animating that expression, just that shit-eating grin.
Oh yeah, and he basically challenged the Hestia Familia to a war game. Now, the most interesting about Danmachi, as with this season, is that there's an established twisted relationship between Hestia and Apollo, which I really want to see explored.
I want to know if they have history, the other kind of history, because Apollo likes to bang things.
Yep. And like I said before, anything and everything that moves. So, and also, a lot of Apollo's lovers in mythology tend to become flora in the grand scheme of things. Because they killed themselves.
A lot of them especially get turned into trees. That's a very common motif.
Yeah, it's a pretty common motif. They either hurl themselves off of cliffs or they turn into plants. That's pretty much what happens. But also we got to see a lot of fun things, like the Apollo Familia inviting Belle and Hestia, inviting Hestia, who invites Belle, to a party that Apollo is throwing.
Yep. And
And
this led to a really great moment where, Hermes, like, Hermes is best wingman.
yeah, he
Like,
is a G. Hermes is a G.
There is a reason all of Hermes' iconography has wings on it, because he is the best wingman. Because, he tries to convince Belle, like, hey man, you should totally dance for the Irons. Like, grow up hair, ask her to dance. She clearly wants to dance with you. And Belle, being Belle, the timid gentleman is like, no, I don't know, I couldn't do that. No, nah, she makes me nervous. And then, Hermes is like, alright, bet. And he goes up to Ein and is like, hello, milady, would you care to dance with me? And then she's about to tell him no, she's about to, like, politely decline because she's looking at Belle and hoping that Belle's gonna ask her. And then he's like, oh, wait a second. I'm sorry. I have something to do. But I can't leave a lady such as yourself unaccompanied when I just asked you to dance. Well, would you look at that? There's my friend Belle Kuhn. Belle, would you be a gentleman and please escort Lady Irons to the dance floor?
Please don't disappoint me, bro.
And then I love that he's covering bases because he has Asvi, his loyal assistant waifu, holding back both Loki and Hestia, and I love it because Loki is like, no, that ass is mine. What are you doing?
And
No,
Hestia's like, no, his ass is mine.
curse you, Wallenstein.
Calls you Wallen Whatsits.
And then it's just like, not the shrimps, kid. Anyone but the shrimps, kid.
Oh, it was great. But then we also got the reintroduction of our main villain throughout the series, Lady Freya.
Freya.
Oh, god damn.
Yeah, man.
So,
Like,
and Hestia's whole thing,
pure step on me energy.
yes.
Like, and I'm not into that. But like, she definitely
You
gives
adapt.
that vibe.
You fucking adapt when you see that bitch come on the floor.
Yeah, like I'm not initially into that, but for that though, maybe.
Oh, it's funny because Hestia's
I
like,
don't know.
no, Belle, don't look at her directly because she will make you want to pork her, like, real fast.
Like, she does this to everyone. Don't look at her directly. You'll want to bang her, and you can only bang me. I cannot wait till the Bridge gets to this.
Oh yeah,
my
that would be
God.
so fucking funny. And you got, like,
Oh,
Takumi
God.
Jizuchi and Miyako just like, oh god, oh, I'm about to get...
I love it because Take is being all like nervous, like hi, and then Mikoto straight up punches him soon style.
No, she pinches him, and Miyako's lady companion, who is a part of his familia, is like, nope, you're not gonna.
No, thank you.
But after all, this was a great first episode for Donmachi.
Yeah, it was really fun, good setup, and I'm very interested in seeing what a war game is in this one. I want to know what that
I
concept
assume
is.
it's between familias. That's what if I have to wager a guess. I mean, that's safe to assume.
Yeah, and I want to see what like the rules are. I just like the world building. This world
I
is
like
super
this
interesting.
world. I very much like this world, and it makes me want to read the light novels in
The
particular.
light novels, same.
So let's actually move on to the next show and some of our new shows that we're adding to the rotation.
Yep.
And since Jay didn't check this out, and more than likely won't, I will just give a brief summary on this show, which is Isekai Cheat Magician. So essentially, it's another Isekai show where we have our protagonist, his first name escapes me, and his childhood friend Rin actually getting transported into another world. However, the ritual that was supposed to summon them got stopped at first because it gives that bit of intrigue, but the ritual was able to be finished, allowing them to be summoned into the new world. And Rin's like, nah, I ain't dealing with this reality. This isn't real. How the hell are we gonna get back to Japan? Until this obsidian horse, which it's a fucking black unicorn. That's what it is. I will call it as such. It is a black fucking unicorn, and it is about to kill them bitches, and it breathes fire. So, these poor kids were about to get trampled. Our protagonist, he's about to sacrifice himself in front of Rin. She's like, no, don't do it. You're gonna die. And then these group of adventurers come in, beat the shit out of this horse, and pretty much the lolly of the group torches this thing. And so they
have an explosion lolly?
No, they have a fire lolly. There's a difference.
Fire lolly.
Yeah, so they basically help them out. They talk a bit about the world that they're in, and our protagonist apologizes to Rin, who has this thing for him. And when they actually get to the town that will introduce them to this new world to sign up for the Adventurers Guild, they found out that they're exceptionally strong magic users, which breaks the magic barometer, their crystal ball, in the Adventurers Guild. And the Guildmaster sends them to a magician who gives us some great fan service. And Jay, I will say this, we got some thick waifus. The mage that's teaching them magic, good.
Oh man, thick teacher magician waifu?
Yes,
okay,
she is stacked, barely wearing any clothes, just good waifu.
I mean, is there any other way to have a magician waifu?
Oh, it's just classic. And that's pretty much it. Just a basic first episode to an
Alright,
isekai
cool.
show.
Cool.
But you can enjoy it for, like, its attempt at world building, or you could just look at it because the girls in the show look kind of pretty, especially thick teacher dark magician waifu.
Super into that.
Well, she's not tanned or anything, but she dresses like a black mage, and that's it.
Nice.
But she's still good
Okay,
waifu.
cool.
Good waifu. So, let's move on to our next show, which is Are You Lost? Basically another 12-minute show, basically about 4 girls trapped on an island, basically anime Castaway.
I really enjoyed this. Yeah, a buddy of mine, when he referred to it as Moe Castaway, and I was like, okay, that sounds awesome. And it is pretty fun. I think all the girls are pretty well designed. It's basically like, what if we took the concept of a beach episode and made it an entire anime, but also threw in little bits of survival.
Yeah, so we have our girls Homure, Shion, Glasses Girl, and Genki Bitch.
I'm just waiting on the eventual Yuri to happen because.
But let's actually get to these 3 episodes here, Jay. Episode 1 is our initial setup with these girls trapped on the island, learning how to survive, and those shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 2, we got to see more shenanigans. And
it's pretty fun. Again, it's very much like Magical Senpai. Because it's a short, they're pretty simple premises. It's quick, easy entertainment, but it's really enjoyable.
Yeah. And plus, you get to hear cute anime girls saying, "No, I don't want to eat the balls."
Oh my god. Seriously though, if you're a fan of Moe stuff, like myself and Tony, you will definitely enjoy Moe Castaway.
Yeah, and
Are You Lost?
Jordan actually enjoys this show too.
Which is weird because he's not a fan of Moe usually.
Yeah, and he basically, I think he categorizes it as trying to teach a little bit about survival instinct. Because Homaru is actually
that's the cool thing that about like anime in like the past couple of years or so. They've had a couple that have like little bits of educational stuff that is really interesting. Like Cells at Work was cool like that. Killing Bites had a little bit of an exaggerated version of that with their animal facts, but that was still cool. We talked about Dr. Stone already, and that now we have this with like different survival skills.
Yep, and so you basically have to make food, you have to like make a shelter, obtain water, and get food. Other amenities will come around. Like Shion
It's
one.
kind of funny because I used to watch Man vs. Wild a lot, so like I know some of this stuff.
Oh, funniest thing. Another interesting tidbit. At work, when there's downtime, sometimes we would turn the activity room TV on, and we would catch Naked and Afraid every now and then.
Naked and Afraid is my dad's favorite show.
Yeah, we would catch that, and I'm looking at myself, these people are crazy. Sitting there ass naked, trying to survive and shit.
I was gonna say, one, I wouldn't want to try to survive and shit. Two, I don't want to survive and shit with my dick out.
I mean, if to prove you can survive out in the wild, I mean, yeah, bet. Try that. Do you. But
I'm not gonna do it with my dick out.
Like, if you want to be an exhibitionist and want the world to know how big your dick is.
Like, it's not even a matter of a security. I just don't like my dick being exposed to the elements.
Oh, like, we gotta say that the characters in Are You Lost they're enjoyable in their own way because some of them are just stupid. I mean, admittedly stupid.
Again, I have propensity for the airhead characters, which is why you think I would like Aho Girl, but she was too dumb for me, man.
Yeah, but when you have the Genki girl basically acting like a big old pussy, saying like
she's hilarious. She's just scared of everything.
Yeah, saying I'm scared of cicadas. I can't do it. I can't eat them.
Her catchphrase is I don't wanna.
Nah, I don't.
No,
I don't want to.
No,
I don't need to.
No, please.
It's like I'm good. No. But she was able to like try to eat like hermit crabs in episode 3 when her and Homaru actually went in. Homare, I think, is her name. Basically, survival bitch.
Yeah.
They went out catching shellfish, and I'm pretty sure if it was just the 3 other characters, Shion, Glasses Girl, and Genki Bitch, they'd be dead.
Yep.
So, that's basically the show.
It's a fun show.
It's fun. We didn't go into much detail about it, but we gave you the gist. And plus,
besides, if it's a short, since it's a short, we can't really talk about the whole episode. Like, you know what I mean?
We can give you the tidbits of it like we do with Magical Senpai, but it'd probably be the same. It would be the same thing, but with a different flavor. Get what I'm saying, folks?
Yep.
But you get quality content. When it comes to Are You Lost? Now finally, on the Crunchyroll side of things.
Let's get pumped!
Nope, actually, we're going to be talking about the other show that's on the Crunchyroll queue, because we'll be getting to the ones that Funimation is doing here in a moment.
I was excited to talk about that. No, my bad.
So we're going to go with Do You Love Your Mom and her 2-hit combo in Another World.
So let me know about this one, because I'm very curious about this.
So, basically, you have a high school student by the name of Misato filling out a form. And it's basically centered around what his relationship with his mom is, whom is named Mamako. And she is the doting mother archetype if you've ever seen it, personified in an anime character. She calls him Ma-kun, and she's like...
I'm gonna just refer to her as MILF-kun from now on.
Yeah, she is she is hot MILF, so she is good. And also decently stacked. But she is a doting mom, she loves her son, and her son, Misato, is a big soon about it.
We'll just hope it doesn't go the way of, like, Usagi drop.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They actually, when he's done filling out the form, Shirase, the one who basically sent them the form, this purple-haired woman, basically types in a bunch of keys in his keyboard and transports him into another world, a game world. Where he's like, I don't have to be with my mom, this is gonna be fucking great. And then he comes to this realization that his mom actually joined him in the other world. And they're like, he's like, what the fuck? Ah, shit.
It's like the personification of that awkward moment when your mom walks in on you playing Nekopara.
Yeah, good thing I never had that problem. But!
Let me tell you, it's very difficult to explain ASCII.
Yes, exactly. But, folks, continuing on, so the typical isekai stuff happens. They are explained of how the world works, and it's actually explained in the style of a video game introduction, and the king's like, come on, man, just follow through. At least the son's catching on to it. I'm going to give the mom an instruction guide to see how things work. And so Misato picks up a sword, barely can hit shit with it, but she's able to pull two swords with different elemental qualities, being fire and water, and she wrecks shop with them.
Nice.
And he's super jealous that his mom is, like, uber powerful, and he's like, nice. Damn it, Mom, you're craving my style. I disown you. And basically hurt his mom's feelings, and then he relented. I'm saying, I'm sorry, Mom, I didn't mean to say that. I was being a dick. And so they basically go into the other world, adventuring together. He is the hero, and she is the hero's mom.
That's awesome. That sounds pretty hilarious. I definitely want to check it out.
Continuing on with that, they're about to head to the Adventurers Guild, and Mamako basically says, oh, we got to assert dominance to prove how strong we are. So she takes out one of her swords and just hurls water damage in front of the Adventurers Guild, blowing a hole in the fucking thing, terrifying the shit out of everybody. And Masato's like, Mom, why? You don't have to assert dominance. This is not the NES days.
I'm perfectly fine with this.
And so they get all the information. They're joining the guild. They're gonna get some guild mates. And then Mamako's like, you know, we're gonna be interviewing these people because you're gonna get close to them, Misato, and you're gonna potentially find a girlfriend or marriage partner. So we're gonna pick people that Mama likes for you.
Interesting twist.
And it's gonna be like,
twist.
And I'm like that. Yes.
That's cool.
Yes.
Mom has to approve your harem.
Yeah, Mama has to be impressed by the girls joining the guild that are potential harem participants. I mean, with that concept alone, it's great, it's fun, it's unique, it's unique in its own flavor, but it's your typical isekai show minus the extra bit of flavor.
But I like isekai with different twists to it, so I think I would definitely enjoy it.
Yeah, instead of the overpowered main character, you have the overpowered mom. Which is hilarious.
Maybe it's because I'm a mom as well myself.
Yeah, I mean, I love my mom to death, but would I take my mom on a otherworldly adventure? Probably not, because I would have to keep an eye out for my mom 24/7, because she may do something stupid.
I don't know, man. If you give my mom like an enchanted slipper or sandal, she'll be unstoppable. Like, fucking. Look, all she needs is one chancleta and fucking hordes of enemies just to watch out.
Yeah.
Y'all bitches don't stand a chance. Y'all don't stand a chance.
I hope I explained that show well enough for you to actually catch it.
Definitely. And I'm intrigued by it. I will definitely be watching that soon.
Oh,
and,
it's very fun.
When I come back, I will for sure be caught up.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it to you, Jay. But let's actually get to another new show that I added to the rotation. due to Jordan's recommendation, is Demon Lord Retry.
Yeah, I also skipped this one because it looked basic.
I mean, sure, it did seem rather basic, but it actually has its own merits in its own special way. So,
Okay.
let me get to at least these episodes here. So, essentially this show's all about, your typical isekai fare, like the opening of Overlord, when you have the protagonist about to close out of the game because it's discontinuing for the final time, and he's transporting the other world of his avatar body, who basically talks like a Yakuza member, and has magic knives hurling at people, like death missiles.
Nice.
And he runs into a girl that basically is treated like human garbage. Basically cleaning out everything and picking up human shit.
Okay.
And so he takes her in. The girl's name is Aku, by the way. And she calls him Demon Lord and all this stuff because he absolutely mollywops an actual demon. Even though our protagonist, I think his name is Kunai, basically uses his magic knives to mollywop the demon by sending him flying into the air.
Nice.
And we get to see a pseudo father-daughter dynamic between Aku and Kunai.
Okay.
It's pretty good. But episode 2, where we're introduced to one of the holy maidens, I think her name is Luna, I believe? Yes, no, maybe so. Yes, Luna. Yep, so the Golden Luna. So she basically uses holy magic, and I'm mostly talking about episode 2, because episode 1's basically your basic introduction episode. It's decent in its fanfare, but episode 2 is really where it gets really entertaining, because Kunai beats the shit out of bandits trying to mug him and Aku, and that's when Luna comes in, acts like a soon bitch, shoots magic at the bandits that are running away. Kunai's like, you know what, I'm fed up with your nonsense, picks the girl up around his arm and just spanks her ass like she's a disobedient child.
She's into it.
Oh no, she is so not into it, she is mad. She is mad at him for literally beating her ass. And
well, then it's kind of... Well, see, when you say it like that, it's kind of creepy.
Well, to be fair, yeah, this is a grown man beating the ass, spanking the ass of a disobedient 16-year-old.
Alright, yeah, it's very creepy.
Yep.
Alright then.
Absolutely creepy. But it is but the one thing I could say that he stole her money and went on a few shopping sprees. Got Aku some new clothes, where you have a scene of an obviously gay fashion store owner basically wanting him, since he paid some big bucks to get Aku some nice clothes, the shop owner was willing to be an ashtray and a chair for Kunai.
Well, dang.
And then both of them got a fancy hotel suite and nice food. But when Luna came in acting like the soon bitch that she is, like, treat me to you're using my money to treat yourselves to food. You're being a pain in the ass. I don't like you. Give me back my money. And Kunai's like, yeah, make sure to get this chick food. I'm sorry, everybody. She's just being loud. I apologize for the rudeness. And everyone's like, how nice of this guy. Because he says, everyone gets a bottle of wine on me.
Nice.
And they're like, how generous of that guy. Like, good on you, sir. I'm like, okay, I can respect that. I mean, yeah, another isekai show that's relatively dull, but has a fun premise to it. At least keeps my interest.
See, I feel like I'd be more entertained with MILF Art Online than this one, but
yeah,
I can see where the appeal is.
Well, I like to see some characters that for some reason I gravitate towards characters that basically talk like thugs. I don't know why, but I have a great.
No, I feel you. That's why I always automatically assign my favorite character if that character has a pompadour.
Yeah,
right? Because the pompadour guy is the badass.
Yeah, and plus Kunai is like a genuinely decent person, but he does like underhanded shit.
Oh yeah, no,
like a mob boss.
Yeah, like I said, I can see where the appeal comes from, but I don't think I'd be into it.
But it's a decent show for what it is. I'm really looking forward to what Jordan's thoughts are. But let's actually get to another show that had its second episode. Hensky. Would you date a girl? Would you date a pervert if she was cute?
The answer is yes, and I loved both of these episodes. So, alright, so first things first, I would take Senpai over Kohai any day. Just saying. But, I prefer to be the aggressor. I prefer to be the dom over being the sub in relationships, both sexual and non-sexual. Or, just sexual and just regularly romantically. But, like, also, I don't know, like, when she first, at the end of the first episode, when, she pulls her shirt down a little bit, has the collar out, and she's like, make me your pet, I'm like, alright, okay, if this is what you're into, alright, I'll comply.
So, just so the folks at home can understand, our protagonist has a lot of potential love interests. From his busty senpai, his cute, adorable kohai, a tsundere who is in his same class, and his little sister.
Fucking emoji. There's always an emoji. They always gotta ruin it with an emoji.
Yes. So he's helping out his senpai cleaning out the calligraphy club room because she made it into a fucking pigsty. And so he got the classmate, the kohai, and his sister to help him and his senpai clean out the room and just make it all clean and shiny.
Yep.
And he went back into the room to return all the cleaning supplies, and he finds a note. It is a love letter.
But a confession letter.
But within the love letter, it is a pair of panties.
Yes. So it's like your classic Cinderella story with an ecchi twist to it.
Yep, so...
And, when I read the premise, I was like, alright, so this is a hentai, right? This sounds like a hentai plot. One of the good hentai plots, but it sounds like a hentai plot.
Yep. If it was depicted in any other way, it would have been a hentai, but no.
I mean, it's definitely straddling it's one of those ones that, like, perfectly straddles the line, I feel.
Oh, I agree with you there, Jay. So, let us explain a lot of the things in these two first episodes. We already talked about Senpai and her being wanting to be treated like a pet.
Personally, I'm down with it.
I'm down with it too.
She's the cutest one out of the bunch, in my opinion, too, so cool.
I agree.
Alright, I'll give you some nice treats, a squeaky toy, alright, I got you.
And if you disobey, no head pats for you. Nothing. You get nothing.
No, I'm totally accepting of those terms. Yes, please.
Yep, but then you also get we get the kohai.
Alright, kohai scares me.
Yep, she's a bit much. She basically wants to make our protag into a slave. And
Yeah, she is.
and when I heard the word slave actually spoken, because I actually read the source material, the manga itself, and I'm like, okay, you just want to dominate him sexually, okay. But then the word slave was pretty much said.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh.
yeah, no, like I was really hoping Jordan was gonna be here. I was really hoping Jordan was gonna be here so we could hear Jordan be like, "Nah, fam, I'm a black man. I ain't nobody's slave." Like, come on, like, but for real though, no.
You know what's really funny? I thought that too. I honestly had that
But
thought.
like, but for real though, no. Like my red flag senses were going off right off jump from the first episode with Kohai over here. I was like, something ain't right with her. There's some definitely off. And then, you know, they have a date. Seems pretty normal. She's a Lord of the Rings fan. And one of the funniest parts of episode 2 is the Lord of the Rings movie they watch is mostly in English. So we get to hear a lot of English.
Yep, and it's basically, it's not a Lord of the Rings, but it's the Tale of the Indecisive King. Or some shit like that. Oh,
and I dig it. And so then a bunch of creeps approach, you know, her at lunch. Her name is Yukita, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yukita. Yeah. Yukita. She like is overwhelmed by these dudes, and then you know and then main character.
Oh, it's Keiki. Keiki is his name.
Keiki. Yeah, Keiki. Yeah, Keiki. Pulls her away, and you know, she's impressed. She kisses him on the forehead as a sign of gratitude, and like they're being real cute. She falls asleep next on his shoulder on the train. It's pretty adorable, and you start to think, huh, you know, she's cute. I like her. I think it'd be pretty dope to date her. And I'm like, oh no, you don't know. You don't know. There's something wrong with her. I hadn't read the source material, but I have had enough experience in real life to know there's gonna be something off with you. I know it. And then, also, side note, I love the antagonistic ship between Yukita and Sasaki.
Oh yeah, that shit's pretty great.
I love that she calls her witch senpai, and of course, like, after revealing her secret, Sasaki, like, is really determined to make Keki, her master. She even gets an obedience training book from the library.
Oh yeah,
and she's like, this will be the key to my rebirth.
Lord. And when we get to know what the soon classmates her whole deal is, that's going to be hilarious.
I'm interested to see what Nanjo's kink is. Nanjo intrigues me.
And I already told you guys when we were initially interested in the show. So if you forgot about it, Jay,
I probably did. Yeah,
it's going to be just fucking hilarious.
Don't tell me, because I want to experience it. But, like, yeah,
I most certainly experience it. It's brilliant.
But, yeah, so Yukita, hits up Keki and is like, Keki-senpai, there's something important we have to discuss. Meet me in the storage room of the library. And Keki is like, oh, shit, this is her finally confessing that she's Panty Cinderella. So, let's go ahead and do this. And so his buddy's like, yeah, man, go for it.
Go get it.
And go get you some. And then this is when she drops the bomb on him, where she's the exact opposite of Senpai. It was like, instead of, I want you to dominate me and be my master, she's like, no, you are my bitch now.
It's like,
you're going to be my slave. And he was like, whoa, buddy, wait, hold on a second. I think you got the wrong idea. She's like, no. And she's like, oh, fine, you want to be shy? Then let me give you a reward. And so she takes off her panties, and she like forcibly shoves them in his mouth, and I'm like, no, I'm uncomfortable.
I'm like, yo.
I'm like, that's a yikes for me, dog. Nah, I'm cool.
Yeah.
I'm cool.
Yeah, technical knockout.
And I love his inner monologue. Is this how I die? With panties in my mouth? This is not how I imagine myself dying.
It's not really how a lot of us would imagine ourselves going, but if it's what's
I mean,
what
I'm not here to kink shame. I'm not here to kink shame people like being dominated. Like, if that's your thing, that's your thing. But me, I feel a little uncomfortable. I was definitely feeling uncomfortable with her just shoving those panties in his mouth.
I mean, anybody would if they're not inclined to that particular kink.
And that's the thing, right? She didn't even ask him. She just shoved it there. Like, that's the thing that, like, made me uncomfortable. Like, if he had been like, alright, cool. Are those edible? Nice. Go ahead.
Yeah, but
no.
she was
said,
off guard, and she's like the aggressor.
She's like, here, bitch, eat it. I don't like it. And she was so tiny, too. That's the feeling I had. I was like, I had a feeling because she was tiny that she was going to be aggressive. Personally, I was expecting her to tie him up, but I'm sure it'll get there. But yeah, no, I'm not cool with this. Kohai is off my list. I'm sticking with Doggy Senpai over here.
Yep.
Sasuke's dope. I like her.
Yet we gotta appreciate them thick waifus. But let's actually get from one thick waifu to another thick waifu. It's that show you wanted to talk about, Jay? Let's get to how heavy are those dumbbells you lift? Episode 2.
Muscle. Yeah.
We gotta reveal our side chest.
Side of chest. Oh man. The weave is strong. The weave is strong.
Yep.
Dude, I fucking love this show, man. I get so much enjoyment out of this.
Yeah.
First off, I love the best friend. We get more detail about Akea.
Yeah.
Hibiki's
Ayaka.
best friend.
So Ayaka is basically the daughter of a former champion boxer
who owns his own gym, and the
Yep.
family business is running the gym.
Yep. So her and her big sister actually work there when their dad's away.
Yep. And I love it. I mean, I'm a huge boxing fan. You know, my grandfather used to do it back in the day, and he was a big fan of the sport, so I got really into it. I love it. It's funny when I mentioned this to Tony and Jordan off camera. Jordan was like, "Are you the type of person who likes to get hit?" I'm like, "No, I do the." I was like, no, I don't like to get hit. I do the aggressive stuff. But we're not getting into that. But like, I've always been a fan of boxers, and I really respect the amount of training it takes to become a good boxer. And so, like, it was dope. Also, side note, listeners, I tried dragon flags. The exercise that Akea showcased at the gym.
Ayaka basically performed the dragon flags, which work on your abs, because that bitch's abs are ripped. They can cut diamonds.
Yeah, they are sculpted, fucking beautiful. But like, man, I tried those. I did like 3, and my stomach were on fire. like my stomach was like, whoa, because I was like, all right, cool, my core strength isn't that bad. I think it's pretty decent. And then because I'm like I can do plenty of sit-ups. I can do plenty of like the reverse sit-ups. I'm like, all right, let's see if I can do this. I was like, 1, okay, that's not too bad. 2, okay, this is getting more difficult. Oh my god, okay, that's enough. That's enough. Alright, I'm done.
So
And,
that's pretty much the end of the episode. But before we get to the first parts of the episode, Hibiki has a latent talent for boxing.
Yes! She freaking Captain America's punch bag. She tries the dragon flags and she fails, and then as an easier task, Akea shows her planks, which are not anything to scoff at. Planks are very difficult. My personal record is 1 minute 30 seconds, and then I absolutely collapse. But if I'm being honest with you, it's like 30 seconds of actual strength, and the rest of the time is pure willpower.
Yep, and then when Ayaka's sister pretty much said, "Hey, Sakura-san, why don't you give boxing a try? Let's see how you do."
Test out the heavy, let's say you test out the heavy bag, and then she puts the glove on. She's looking all cute. She's like doing little shadow boxing maneuvers, and they're all like, "Oh." And then she's like, okay, like this, and she fucking punches it and knocks it clean off the chain. Which, if you think about it, it makes perfect sense because they already talked about how she's perfectly built for boxing when you really look at it. And then, me and Jordan were talking about this on camera because, she's inherently already a little thicker than most girls her age. So, like, putting on the weight will be easy for her. Plus, she eats like a shonen protagonist, as Akemi pointed out, and so she's got the inherent strength and power. I want this to turn into moe boxing now. Please let it be moe boxing. Please let me find out that this turns into moe boxing, because that would be wonderful. Because I want it. I want it so bad.
Yeah, we all want things that we definitely need in life. So let's actually get to the other parts of the episode, since we're working backwards with this episode in particular.
Yep.
We have Hibiki and Akemi.
Oh yeah, so
they're talking about what they're gonna be doing because they're not gonna go to the gym because Hibiki's feeling a bit strained from.
Yeah, she's too sore. She's feeling too sore, and also like she can't do her normal thing and hang out with Akea because she's out with her sister, and so like she's like, well, I don't have anything to do. Then Akemi suggests going to the pool, and then we find out Akemi's superpower connected to her muscle fetish. She has like muscle detective mode, and like. The attention to detail in the muscle design for this show is freaking crazy. We joked that this is like a lot of the art for like the muscle down people is very much like early Iraqi, but it's true. So much definition. It's like scary at points, man. Like Kemi looks at a couple of the women at the pool. She identifies like a cyclist, someone who does judo. And then I forget the other person, but it's pretty cool.
Like, the first one was a cyclist, the second one did karate, and the third one looked like she did professional wrestling or judo.
Yeah. And then, we get to a pretty mind-blowing portion of the episode, because this is something that shocked, like, all three of us when we were talking about it, because we each had no idea this was a thing. So, Akemi blows all of our minds, Hibiki's included, when they're about to exercise, and Hibiki starts stretching, and Akemi goes, wait, no, stop. Stretching is not good for you. Actually, it's very detrimental to exercising. And I was like, what? Wait. My entire life, I've always been told to stretch before exercise, and even when I did weight training in high school, they were like, you gotta stretch before you exercise. Loosen up your muscles. And I'm like, wait, so that's not what you're supposed to do? And apparently what you're supposed to do is the calisthenic style stretching, like the stuff, old ladies do.
Yeah. Because apparently the stretches that the young folk like us would do is pretty much stretching out muscles to make them basically tear easier.
Yeah, it makes your muscles tense up more. It actually lowers your raw power output by like 2.5% or something like that. She said. It's really interesting. And again, like we said with a bunch of these other shows with educational tidbits, that's one of the things I really enjoy about Dumbbell. Besides the comedy and the great expressions, I really enjoy like hearing these like bits of exercise science information. It's really cool.
Yep, and the first part of the episode is typical fare for the show, where the girls are at the gym training, because Hibiki wants to do, really is raring to train, and so they're doing the pull lift.
I want to say it's the lat pull down, right?
Yeah,
They do lat pull down?
it's the lat pull down, but I'm basically referring to what the thing does. You basically arch your back a bit.
It's actually, that's one of my favorite machines at gyms, because you just sit down and you pull the bar down. It exercises your shoulders and your back muscles.
And of course, Akame has to be titillating when Machio has to give the example of how the machine works with certain muscles.
Yep. That's your standard fan service segment, as they like to do, which, always appreciated.
Yeah, but towards the end of that little vignette of the episode, after they're done with their workout, they go to the protein bar. And you have Machio
is a bartender at the protein bar, and apparently protein shake is delicious. Which, by the way, protein shakes are actually really good, depending on the ones you buy.
Yeah.
They are actually really good.
Did you notice, Jay? Did you notice that Machio is making a face that is straight out of Konosuba?
Yeah, straight up. Also, I just realized this this week, and it blew my mind, and I felt kind of dumb for not realizing it. His fucking name is a pun.
Yeah, I figured that out like long before.
Yeah, I only just now realized it. When I watched episode 2, I was like, wait a minute, his name is Machio, as in macho. Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a good one.
And why do you think some of his catchphrases and when he's flexing, he just really emphasizes all the things that he's doing?
Gesto. Oh man, I fucking love that guy. He's great.
Yeah,
he's great.
Hilarious dude. Just pure greatness.
But
Just
yeah,
sheer
dude,
greatness.
like I said, I love this show. Akame has risen to the top of the currently at the top of the waifu class for this show. We haven't met the others yet, so I can't make a full assessment. But right now, in my opinion, Akea is best waifu for Dumbbell.
Yeah, well, I can say for right now, Ayaka is second place waifu. But I have to give, for the most part, first place for, good waifu is Hibiki.
Don't get me wrong, I love Hibiki. The kawaii fang definitely gives her an edge. So, I'm not going to count out Hibiki just yet. But, also, they're both tan, so they're at an even keel for me. It'll depend on how things go to see who wins out, but I definitely think it's between those two for me.
Oh, I agree with you there. Maybe white-haired waifu blows her fucking minds.
Yeah, maybe. Well, we don't know. Neither of us have read the light novel, so
We don't know what the source material is like. We don't know, because from what I think was said is that it's an adaptation of a 4-koma manga.
Oh, it's a 4-koma?
Yep.
See, with that long title, I assumed that it was...
That's just what I heard anyway. I mean, I can
Oh, okay.
look into that for my own personal research, and I can tell you about it the next time we do. Well, you're
Yeah,
on Weeb Warriors.
but I'm definitely interested in seeing what the other waifus have to offer. But right now, it's a pretty tight competition between Hibiki and Akea for best girl of Dumbbell for sure.
Oh, most definitely.
Sorry, Akemi, but I don't meet your muscle fetish, so you're automatically disqualified.
Yep. I mean, she's cute and all, but the muscle fetish kind of ruins it for a lot of us. But
Yeah.
let's get to our soapbox discussion now, Jay.
All right.
If we remembered last week, we talked about what makes a great shonen protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
So, as fans of any geeky medium, mostly in superhero comics, for every great hero, there are a plethora of great villains. So,
Okay, cool.
my question to you, Jay, and this is open for the both of us, what, in our honest opinions, makes for a great shonen antagonist?
Okay, so for my money, all of my favorite shonen antagonists have very interesting, like, very complex ideologies that aren't just a crack mirror version of the protagonist ideology. I mean, obviously they'll have elements to it, which is why they're the primary antagonistic force against the protagonist. But also, I really like when they have layers and you can actually understand and even agree with the philosophy of the shonen protagonist, the shonen villain. I mean, it's kind of my same rule of thumb with comic book villains, right? Which is why I love characters like a Magneto or a Doctor Doom or a Tim, because all of those characters, like, while they are definitely evil in a sense and they've done some pretty horrible things, you can also clearly understand and be like, you know what, honestly, I agree with you on some points with how they do things. It might be a little warped, but also you get it, and it makes sense for the world. And I feel like, especially when it comes to shonen villains, the best shonen villains also enhance the world in some way, shape, or form. Like, for example, you got somebody like Toguro from Yu Yu Hakusho. He is someone who, on the surface, he has the very basic idea of absolute strength, right? But when you look at Toguro's backstory and what he went through, he's someone who lost everything, who believed in, equality, good, and justice, but when the world just turned on him and he was hurt that badly, in order to protect himself from being hurt again, he sold his soul and just completely devoted himself to strength so that he would be strong enough to defeat anything that could possibly hurt him. But then it got to the point where he has almost kind of a Saitama-esque complex where he's so strong that he's honestly kind of bored and he's lost kind of his purpose in life. In the beginning, he wanted to become strong so he could protect people, but in his quest to gain absolute strength and to not be hurt again, his life feels dull now, and so he's searching for a good fight in order to feel something again, to feel that rush, that excitement, that purpose that he once got from protecting people, since he no longer has anyone to protect. It's such a complex philosophy, and it's like, on the surface it seems so simple, but there's so many layers to it. It's really interesting, and like, that's the case with a lot of Togashi characters in general, which is why I fucking love Yoshihiro Togashi as a manga.
Yeah, and for one thing that I really enjoy what I look for in a shonen protagonist is, much like you, Jay, I like villains with more layers to them. I'm interested in villains that pose an interesting threat in their own way. Like, I always come back to, since when I was a lot younger, I think all of us anime fans who are starting out here in the West, and I would say those who are across the way, actually in the land of the rising sun, had villains that, especially if they were made by a certain mangaka, Cell would be one of those villains that really influenced, like, a certain level in Dragon Ball Z.
Cell is my favorite Dragon Ball villain, because the cool thing about Cell is he's not just the Dragon Ball villain that we were accustomed to, that's just, like, all about destroying the world. Like, yes, he threatens to destroy the world, but in a lot of ways, he's kind of like what Goku would be like if Goku was evil. And I know a lot of people point to somebody like Turles or Goku Black, but if you look at Cell, Cell was all about, like, wanting a good fight. Like I said with, like, Toguro, and again, that's always been Goku's philosophy, to just find stronger opponents. He sets up the Cell games because he wants to test himself against the world's strongest fighters.
When he actually reached perfect form, because Cell is a amalgamation of a lot of different characters within the series. And it would make sense if, since he's made of those different individuals, that some of their personality traits would inhabit his form. And I think that's the interesting thing about Cell, or why I find Cell so fascinating. And plus,
yeah, that's definitely something that I really enjoy about him as well.
And one thing that, also another shonen antagonist that I really enjoy, are the types of villains that stick around and they themselves have a progression, like Shigaraki from My Hero.
Oh yeah, definitely. I like the idea that both he and Izuku start basically at level 0 and are working their way up, you know, as the story progresses.
And I also really like some of the villains that Horikoshi introduced in My Hero. Like, Overhaul is probably one of my favorite villains that he's ever created.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes.
And I'm really interested in seeing the 8 Principes arc really get adapted. And I also, that's the one thing I attribute to, and also I really enjoy the villains in the current arc right now, in the manga.
Oh, dude, yeah, especially because the arc itself is villain-centric. I really enjoy that as well.
The villains that the League of Villains are facing off against, they're very interesting, and they have their motivations. And that's what I like about Horikoshi's work, that he understands...
You know, that's another thing, you know, as comic book fans at heart, and, you know, Horikoshi himself is one as well, he takes a lot of those sensibilities that we've come to love from American comics and applies them to manga, and it works very well, and I think that's what makes it so successful.
Yeah, and one thing that also you can enjoy, like, on a very basic level, when it comes to most antagonists, like if they're kind of shallow in their own way, but if they have, like, a unique trait and ability that catches your attention, those kinds of villains, they're a nice flavor of the month sort of villain. Like,
and I mean, you always like the super flex badass villains, like Aizen from Bleach. Aizen was awesome. Madara from Naruto, like, really cool.
One of the villains that I really enjoy, and I know it's not animated yet, but I'm really looking forward to what they're going to do with this character, because I hear so much about him in general amongst this community, but Funny Valentine from Part 7 of JoJo, Steel Ball Run.
Oh, yeah.
Because Funny is a character that is the President of the United States and has a very crazy-ass stand.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, and the one thing that I like about Funny is that he doesn't see himself as a villain. He is motivated to
And you know,
basically protect the
if
country.
we're talking about villains for a second, you know, since we're talking about shonen villains in particular, I think the coolest thing about Araki and why I love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is because not only does the series evolves with Araki, and you know he admits like in like a lot of the author's notes, if you like get the Jojoniums, he admits in a lot of the author's notes that in the early parts he was very much just kind of following the formula, and you know he didn't really have a grasp on his like definitive writing style yet, and he wasn't really competent enough to do more complex and nuanced stuff, which is why like Phantom Blood is very straightforward, good versus evil. Probably like I would say the first 2 to 3 parts are like standard good versus evil, like fair. But
And
when
then
we
you
get
get
to
to
like
part
part 5
4.
and part 5 and onwards is when we get a lot more nuanced characters.
Yeah,
and
part
it
4
gets
and
really
part...
interesting.
Yeah, and with, because Diablo was a
I was gonna say Vento Oreo is definitely
Yeah, it's...
like
Yeah,
a lot
Araki
of the
really
more
explored
complex
with a lot of different things in Ventoloreo. But he also... We saw inklings of that in Diamond is Unbreakable.
Oh,
with
for sure.
Yoshikage
I'm not
Kira.
going to discount that. I'm not going to discount that at all because Kira was awesome.
And sure, Stone Ocean may not have been a lot of people's favorite part of JoJo, but it has some interesting concepts with it that Araki was playing with.
Oh, yeah,
And besides,
definitely. No,
JoJolion, even though it's kind of a mixed bag, currently, I find it very fascinating because the main villain hasn't made their presence known. And a lot of the side villains
it's a little
are...
all over the place, but I'm digging it so far.
Yeah, it's a fun ride. It's a fun ride. But one thing... One thing I can always say about Araki's style when it comes to making villains is that he takes the inspirations kind of similar to Horikoshi. I think Horikoshi really looked up to Araki's style when making characters. Because Araki does this thing, I think I said this before, that he is a big fan of Western rock music. Hell, a lot of the stands and characters are named after some of his some of the music he enjoys.
Yeah, musicians or songs, and I really, he takes a lot of like attention to detail to certain things with how he designs characters. For example, like the stand Black Sabbath. If you know the actual origin of like the band's name, and where it came from. I believe it was either the frontman or the lead guitar. He had a dream about like a demon coming for them and like them signing a contract with this demon in order to gain like fame or whatever. And he described the demon, and the description of the demon is how they came up with the song. And then that's actually what he modeled the stand after, and why it has like the shadow-based abilities and different things like that. So I really like that like aspect of Araki's like character creation, especially for villains.
Yeah, and one thing that, since we brought it up earlier in this review, for these reviews, we talked about Dr. Stone and the introduction of our antagonist being Tsukasa. And I really think that he exemplifies everything we talked about here. He has a polar motivation compared to our protagonist Senku. He is a diametric opposite. A very in-your-face, very combat-heavy individual against the big brain that is Senku. And there's that dichotomy. And that's what I like in villains also, is that they represent a different side of the character that is our protagonist.
For sure. I mean, there's a reason why it's, you know, a repeated trope over and over again, because it really works. And one last thing that I want to mention about shonen villains, one of my personal favorite types are also the ones that eventually find their humanity, right? Like, my perfect and one of my favorite examples of this is the villain Meruem from Hunter x Hunter, the Chimera Ant King. He is born and created to destroy humanity, right? And he because he got information from the hive mind, he knows human beings as a species won't accept them because they're different and different things like that. And how chimera ants are created is actually they use the like corpses of people and they basically reincarnate people into chimera ants. So he kind of questions it at first, like, am I human or am I an ant? And they all tell him that he's an ant. And then eventually he comes across this character, Moogie, who is blind, right? This girl Moogie, she's completely blind, and she is technically his prisoner, but not really, because like he's pretty nice to her. And she constantly beats him in chess, and because she's blind, she can't see what he looks like, and so she just treats him like a person. She's really nice to him, and like throughout the course of the arc, he's developing emotions. He really cares for Moogie, and he's starting to learn that people are inherently good, and he learns to respect people and respect strength in people, and especially like the strength to protect things, which is why when he fights Netero and eventually kills Netero, he's very proud and happy with that fight because Netero showed him the respect of giving him his all, and also the reason Netero was fighting was to protect his people. And I really like that. And which that's what makes his, Merlin's death so poetic, because like, he's willing to give himself up as long as he gets to be with Moogie, and they both, die together in this cloud of poison gas, and it's really beautiful and sad. And I'm sorry if I spoiled the Chimera Ant arc for you guys, but if you haven't seen Hunter x Hunter yet, there's something wrong with you. You should go watch it and read it, even though it's on constant off and on hiatus. It's still great. Love you, Togashi. You're great. But yeah, like that's one of my favorite shonen villain archetypes is the redemptive arcs, like the ones that eventually find their humanity.
Well, I think with that being said, we are going to end this episode here. So, Jay, why don't you tell the folks at home that what you're doing currently with your channel and anything that you have cooking up in the near future after your vacation.
Alright, well, so, it's the usual stuff. I have a bunch of different forms of media. You don't just find one thing over on my channel, Mr. J's Reviews. I review different things like music, movies, TV shows, comic books, anime, sometimes manga, not all the time really, because I just don't have the time to read and review manga. It's kind of the same reason I've stopped reviewing comic books, because like it's just it's a lot more time consuming than reviewing TV and music and stuff like that. But I've got a bunch of different stuff coming up. I'm still reviewing like Euphoria, and I believe Handmaid's Tale is still going on. I'm reviewing Young Justice currently. Love season 3.
How are you reviewing Young Justice, by the way?
Using Brian's account. Brian's sharing with me because it's a big show, and I've been reviewing it since the first season, so I can't just drop it. So I'm sharing with Brian.
Yeah, makes perfect sense.
But yeah, I'm reviewing Young Justice, so that's still going on. Other stuff is going to be coming out when I come back from vacation. It might be while I'm on vacation, or it might be when I come back. It all just depends on if I have the availability to record somewhere. But I do plan on seeing the Lion King live action, or it's not really live action. It's a CGI animated remake, but the people call it live action, so I'll call it live action. The Lion King remake, basically. Gonna see it. Don't have high expectations for it because it's my favorite Disney movie of all time, and they already ruined my second favorite. Not entirely ruined, I would say, but I was disappointed by the Beauty and the Beast one. But I'm moderately hopeful for this, but we'll see. Also, in terms of the anime I review individually, stuff here on this list, but not all of it, because a couple of these shows YouTube would not let me cover and, you know, keep monetization for. So the ones I do review individually are Fire, Dumbbell, Dr. Stone, Don Machi, and Magical Senpai. So if you guys want my in-depth thoughts on those episodes before the Weeb Warriors episode comes out, you can definitely check out those individual videos. I'm sure Tony will leave a link to my channel in the description or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've got going on. It's going to be pretty big. Also, in terms of like comic book stuff, The Boys, one of my favorite series by Garth Ennis, is finally getting a TV show adaptation from Amazon. That comes out literally a couple days before I get home. So I'm looking forward to reviewing that. I cannot wait. It's a really fun, crude parody of the Marvel Universe and the DC Universe, because it was in that period of time where Garth Ennis was flipping the bird to the big two, and it's fucking awesome. I love it. If you are a fan of the classical superhero genre and would like a nice, good old-fashioned table flip of that, written by a surly Englishman, definitely watch The Boys. I'm sure it's going to be great, but definitely read the series. It's awesome. Love it. But yeah, that's pretty much what's coming up on my channel. Again, thanks for having me, Tony. It's always great to be here, and I'm glad to be here for the summer. And I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Alrighty, folks, we will catch you next week as usual. And hopefully we won't destroy ourselves amongst the powerfulness that is the anime thick hose.